This is quite remarkable that the Dow is only down 123 points, and it's maybe the price action in itself is a wake-up call to those of us that were so concerned of the impact this would have here.
Well, I think what's happening is the Dow is measuring what's happening in Europe. The closer you are to Greece, the more dramatic the event. And there's a couple of things going on here. We're in a great case of the theory of games. Cyprus really needs markets to be destabilized. That will put pressure on Brussels to say, oh, my God, if this thing really goes over the cliff, things could get much, much worse. So he's caught between a rock and a hard place. Things are somewhat destabilized, but as you aptly point out, they haven't gone off a cliff. So where are we? Secondarily, he's decided to call for a referendum, so he can't get blamed, as it were. The difficulty, as Michelle pointed out, if they get a yes vote, he'll wind up resigning. And I bet you will not find another person to take leadership of Greece because nobody wants to commit the political suicide.
We've heard that before in Europe. There'll be some sort of national government. Surely. I mean, come on. There are good women and true in that country that will step up to the plate.
I understand that, but all of the current politicians believe it is suicide to put in an austerity program.
But the point I was making is this market will sail on unaffected.
Well, not entirely unaffected. They're looking. And secondarily, we have other things beside Greece to worry about. As I remarked to you off camera, we have Puerto Rico and we have China. And I'm more than a little concerned about China. They cut rates and they wound up selling off anyway, ultimately. And today is the first anniversary of ISIS declaring itself a caliphate, and we're right in the middle of Ramadan. So not just financial things, but potentially terrorism. I don't want to wish my life away, but I'll be happy when today is over.
Art, you know, given all the time that we've spent worrying and wondering about Greece for so many years at this point, doesn't today's action tell you perhaps that concerns about real contagion, if the actual worst thing happens, are overblown?
It would appear that they are an extreme, but to Sarah's point earlier, I think that the euro is strengthening because people have come to believe that either way, the euro does all right. With Greece out of the currency, it is basically a stronger currency. And if they get a sigh of relief rally, it'll do all right anyway.
And not only that, I wrote about this for CNBC.com. I'm so glad you brought it up, Art. But Eric Nielsen of Unicredit, the chief economist there, made the point that never have the European politicians been so united as they are right now in fighting what he called the voodoo economics of the new Greek government. There's that, and there's this idea that if Greece did have to go, they would just add in further firewalls and strengthen the structure of the euro so that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, what they've got to do is those firewalls have got to rope off the rest of Club Med. You've got to get Portugal, Spain, and Italy all protected. If that is done, then the calm attitude of the market is well deserved.
Very quickly, I brought you guys a present. I brought you some drachma, which I have.
Let's hope we don't have to use them.
Unbelievably, some drachma.
But to the broader point here, monetary unions fail because of runs on banks. And it's runs on banks in Italy and Spain, not united politicians, that could undo this.
You're absolutely right. I mean, we had this discussion a couple of weeks ago where I said you'll know when things are coming apart in Greece when you see the run on the bank.
Right, in other countries.
Well, we've begun to see it in Greece, and if it spreads, then that's contagion.